Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 12th meeting of the Hillsborough County Charter Review Board. Welcome, everyone. Melissa Snively will be coming in late, and we've got Karen Drosch coming to us through remote tonight, but otherwise we got great attendance, so thank you all for being here. Call a meeting to order and begin with an invocation from our chaplain, Rick Coons. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, creator of heaven and earth, we just thank you for the privilege that you've given us to serve. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your grace, for your goodness in our lives. And Father, we thank you that our hope is in you, as the psalmist said. And so, Father, we thank you for the things that we're going to learn, that we're going to hear, that we're going to understand. And we know that those things are ours, but we pray for wisdom, which comes from you. So give us wisdom, give us understanding, so we make wise decisions. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Very thoughtful. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business is public comment, and I understand we have one commissioner here that would like to speak to us. Commissioner Cohen, welcome, sir. Delightful to see you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. I want to start out just by thanking everyone here for what you're doing, because this is really the most important work of government. And all of us, no matter whether we agree or disagree, you know, we all, at this level, we really do have Hillsborough County's best interests at heart, and we're trying to do the right thing. And I know that you're grappling with some difficult issues, and I've watched most of your meetings, and I've talked to some of you, and I wanted to just provide a little bit of perspective on some of the things that you have been grappling with. The first thing is I've been on the board now for 5 years, and before that I represented a single-member district on the Tampa City Council, and I represent a single-member district now. And I think that being a single-member district representative gives you a very unique perspective, because you are the person. However, in both of those bodies, the public, people who are coming to us with an issue, it could be a problem, it could be an idea, generally need more than one vote. They need multiple votes in order to get anything done. And they usually turn to the at-large commissioners or council members for that purpose. So I feel there's a real need for people that have a full view of the full county and can make decisions for the whole rather than just representing a piece. However, I also have definitely come to believe that the districts are too big. The districts are about the size of the city of Tampa at this point. We each have 2 aides. Just to give you a sense of my own geography, my district goes from West Chase all the way to 275, all the way down to Big Bend Road, and it's a bear, and all 4 of the districts are a bear. And when I was elected in 2020, my district included Keystone and Odessa, and also went down to Apollo Beach and half of Ruskin. And I remember going down to Apollo Beach just to sort of drive around and really feeling like, given the huge amount of issues that we deal with on the board related to South County, that it was just very unfair that there wasn't direct representation from that area to participate in those discussions. We did have Commissioner Smith at the time who lived in Ruskin, but she was countywide. And the fact is that the districts are so enormous that there's just no way that the individual commissioners I think can effectively cover it as well as if it were larger. So I think that balancing out those 2 issues is really the difficulty, and I'm sure you're grappling with it. I have always thought that the way the charter designed things so that citizens voted for a majority of the board was really a very elegant way of giving citizens an access, really access to the votes they need. But I'm not sure that it needs to be a majority. It could be a single-member district plus 2 county-wide commissioners or 3 county-wide commissioners. So I think there's a lot of different ways to do it that would make sense. I just wanted to just sort of bring that perspective that, the districts are enormous, but the county-wide perspective is helpful too.
Thank you, sir. Would anyone like to address the commissioner while we have him here? Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Commissioner Cohen. Commissioner Cohen, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Love your comments and agree with so much of what you said. Questions I asked 2 of your previous commissioners at this meeting, the same one, and you basically kind of already answered it was, all right, we're a large county. I do personally think we need to expand, go up to 9. Then it's, well, what is the makeup? And you articulated very well, I think, the purposes of at-large, because I'm grappling with that personally, like, do we do 9 single member? What's the value of the at-large? So if you wanted to opine a little bit, that sweet spot, 7-2, 6-3, I know there may not be a huge difference between doing 7-2 over 6-3, but any additional thoughts on that?
I'm looking at Melissa Snively over here, and I believe the school board is 5-2, adding up to 7. You could leave the county-wides alone and add 2 more, or you could go a little higher than that. I don't really have an answer for you on what the sweet number is, but I do think that it's worth discussing it and batting it around. The other thing that I think is going to become complicated is, and if let's say you have 9 districts, or let's say you have 7 and 2, do all the single-member districts, or shouldn't all the single-member districts contain both unincorporated and incorporated areas? Otherwise, you would have some districts that only represented incorporated and some that only represented unincorporated. And I think that could become very problematic. So I think I'm looking over at the county attorneys, and I'm wondering about one person, one vote, and issues that could come up, because there is a difference between the people that live in the cities and the people that live in the unincorporated areas in terms of what they're getting from the commission.
Thank you, sir. Mr. White?
Commissioner, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And it's important to hear from the commissioners of Hillsborough County. I'm in support of 9 county commissioners. The question is, like you said, what should it look like? I'm going to need you to be candid with the board. I believe you have an idea what you think will work best. And so, if not today, I would like to have a recommendation from you or from the other commissioners on what should it look like if you have 1 idea, if you have 2 ideas, or if you have 3. If you go back and look at the history, Mr. Chairman, of the county commissioners, and Mary Helen knows this, the board itself has forwarded to the Charter Review Board some recommendations on what we should opine on, what we should discuss, and what we should consider. I'm looking for that. Well, and the reason is this board is not as versed. We're quickly getting educated on what's going on in the county and what it's all about. And so the expert help of the commission and the staff of the county could play a tremendous role in getting this done very quickly.
Well, I appreciate that. I actually haven't had the benefit of hearing everything you've heard in terms of, I haven't heard every single thing that's gone on at these meetings and or your deliberations. But I would say this, that the parameters that I just discussed really wouldn't leave you a whole lot of options. I mean, it could be 6 and 3 or 7 and 2 or something like that. I'm not real sure. I'm not sure that matters as much as figuring out how to expand it in a way that's, that's going to give the county the most effective representation possible. I don't know. I'll see if I can give you a recommendation perhaps before your next meeting based on some of what's said. But I wanted to come in and at least make the case for both something larger and something that is a hybrid between an at-large and a single-member district. What's interesting about the at-large seats is that they bounced back and forth between both parties over the past 10 or 15 or 20 years. So I don't think it's reasonable to assume that there's any kind of partisan advantage either way to having countywide seats. I think it's just a question of how you divvy it up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you addressed the dilemma very well, and we are struggling. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the commissioner? Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate you being here.
Okay, thank you very much. Good to see you all. Have
Thank
fun.
you. Thank you, sir. I want to recognize, yes, Commissioner Cepeda. I always want to recognize you being here, but would you like to make some remarks?
Thank you. Yes, so it was
Please.
well said already by Commissioner Cohen, but I would like to add that I believe that the 2 extra commissioners would really be awesome to have. So many reasons really that were already said here, but I'm definitely in favor of having the additional commissioners on board for sure. Thank you.
Excellent. I
Thank
think
you.
that's what Mr. White wanted to hear. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. White?
Well, we've asked the other commissioner for a recommendation, some language, a proposal based on you being an elected county commissioner of Hillsborough County. I'm going to ask you for the same thing, to help this board to get up to speed quickly. We only have X number of months left. And so anything from you and from the staff of the county related to a recommendation will be helpful, and I'm requesting that from your office and from you.
Yes, thank you. So you mean other than the yes for the other additional
You
2
said you
county
support
commissioners,
9.
yes.
What do you think the 9 should look like? And so we would love, I would love to have it. I don't know about the rest of the board, but I would. I think it'd be very helpful.
So are you saying like the single districts? I mean,
Whatever
for
you
all
think.
of them?
Whatever your ideal
So-
is, whatever's in your heart.
There's really pros and cons for both. The single districts, I mean, the countywide commissioners are really, they're doing great for, taking care of the constituents countywide. But when it comes to the single districts, I think what you have to think about is those commissioners will be voting when it comes to monies for infrastructure. They're going to be really favoring their communities, and they're, more than others. But, there's definitely some pros to having countywide, but for representation, I believe that the single districts is really awesome as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somehow we'd like it both ways. I think we can all agree on that. Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments? Yeah. Beth, did anyone register for public comments, and no one came through the internet?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Let's review the minutes and see if we can adopt them as they were presented. They've been distributed for about a week now. Are there any changes to the minutes? I'd look for a motion to adopt the minutes.
I'll move approval of the July 8th, 2025 meeting minutes and let you know that although I was not here physically present, I did observe the entire video.
I'll second.
So thank you all very much for the wonderful work you all did while I was on vacation
Yeah, well, you were at the beach or whatever,
at a baseball game.
a baseball game. All right, thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second to adopt the minutes?
Well, I would second too, but I'd have to echo that I went back and watched it later. So if you want somebody that was actually here to second, then we can do that too.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Did I hear something? Oh.
Karen.
Sorry, that was
That
Karen
was me.
Jerome.
I voted
Hey,
yes.
oh, okay, I don't see your picture on my screen. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was
Okay.
here
You
last
don't
time.
want to see it. I don't look that great.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
feel that
Well,
great, so if I don't
sorry.
look that great.
Sorry. let me just talk a little bit about the outline of tonight's meeting, and actually ties into next month's meeting as well. We're going to ask for some additional information now on the cost estimates for the commission seats, so we can get additional data to make a decision. What I foresee, and I'm going to ask you what other data you want, because I foresee that we could start making the votes at next month's meeting, at the September meeting. And we've got a number of combinations, 9, 7, and then various splits on it. So I'd like to see if we'd be ready for the vote next month. So that's how I'm hoping we run tonight's meeting, and then get the items that are just our business other than redistricting out of the way tonight, and do it all in 2 hours. Get you out of here before 8 o'clock. So let me. I'd like to have the cost estimates go first, if that's possible, so that we can take the financial impact remarks and lead right into the agenda item that follows. So, sir, could you welcome? Could you present yourself, please? Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. My name is Kevin Brickey. I'm the Director of Management and Budget for the county. And I was asked to come before you today and talk about some of the estimates for the costs for increasing the board from 7 to 9 members. First of all, the cost that would rise would be the salaries and benefits for 2 new commissioners and for 2 aides for each commissioner. The salary and benefits for 2 commissioners would be about $512,000. The salary and benefits for 4 aides, so that's 2 aides each, that would be about $562,000. And then there are daily office costs that would be associated with each office. It's about $15,000 apiece, or $30,000 for 2. Those would be recurring costs each year. And then we had our facilities and real estate department look at and consider what some of the costs would be to accommodate 2 new commissioners and the 2 aides each. And here, this would be 2 offices and adjacent offices for their aides on the second floor. So that would mean a reduction in meeting space on the second floor and break rooms, perhaps a relocation for a clerk staff person, and reconfiguration of that area to have those 2 offices and the related commissioner aide offices. Also, a reconfiguration of the boardroom on the second floor in order to have 2 additional commissioners at the dais, and the related technology needs to be able to have 2 new commissioners functioning on the dais. The total estimated costs for the reconfiguration is $800,000 to $1,000 to $1.2 million in order to accommodate those offices and the reconfiguration needed in the boardroom. That is a cost to have commissioners located on the second floor. With time, there could be other desires or wishes or needs that could be identified that could drive future costs as well. So the total estimated cost, $1.9 to $2.3 million. The annual estimate of recurring costs, $1.1 million.
Thank you. Other questions? One that I was curious about, I mean, sometimes things just can't be done. There isn't enough space. So that's not the case here? I mean, physically it could be done, but you'd make compromises by, what, What would be the compromises be, if you can do it?
Facilities is looking at the space as it is now on the second floor. There are a few break rooms, there are a few meeting rooms. Some of those break rooms and meeting rooms would be lost and able to keep all on the second floor. And also there may be a need to move a clerk staff off the second floor and able to do that. And that's why we say in the longer term, there could be identification of other desires or other needs that could have future costs. But this is trying to accommodate those on the second floor, and it would have some trade-offs.
Okay. But it can be done, but you have to make sacrifices.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I recognize Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Bricky, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate the facts and figures. Commissioner salaries, obviously that's set by statute, the benefits that we provide through the county. Aide salaries, though, that is a range. So the 140 each, I'm assuming that's the highest end, and does that include, that 20% of, health, medical and retirement, all that
That
in there?
includes the typical aide salary and fully burdened cost.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's the very high end, the highest end?
I don't recall if that's the very highest end. I think it is the most typical. I'll have to get back with you on that as to whether or not it's at the highest end.
Okay.
I think it's at the typical.
Because it looks like some of this stuff is hard numbers. Others, obviously, will, there's going to be a deviation of what that's going to be, both in salaries and, again, this is today's cost to remodel. 2-3 years from now,
It would likely be more.
good chance it could be more.
Yes,
But-
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Recognize Ms. Holt.
Good evening. Thank you again for coming. I just wanted to ask, is the legislative aid salary, is that subject to the DOJ looking at personnel cost? Have y'all been advised that this is a part of what they'll be looking at? Because obviously the commissioners is different, but as it relates to personnel that may be employed on behalf of commissioners, do you know if that's subject to that evaluation?
They have asked for data on all county employees, and so yes, it would include them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions?
Well, I'm just trying to be open. So just say it passed, and we have 2 additional commission seats. So now the makeup and the cost and all that, it'll be in the hands of the existing commission. So of course, they'll be looking for savings. They'll push for excellent additional recommendations to lower the cost. Is that a fair comment to make?
I think it is a possible comment, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe help put it in perspective. What is the county budget?
County budget is, across all funds, $12 billion.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Briggy? Great. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Hall.
No, that's okay. I'm sure that the people are going to ask, what kind of a tax increase are we going to see for this?
This is.
If any. I mean, I'm right, that's what people want to know. How much is it going to cost me?
So this is about $2 million on an ongoing basis. It is about $1.1 million. It is unlikely to require an increase in any tax rate. As property values increase, our revenue increases, and it's likely to be able to be absorbed within that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Chair, I had a question.
Yes, Karen, recognize you.
So as our population goes up, constituent services, I would imagine, would rise up in proportion. Is that a fair assumption?
Certainly, as population goes up, the demand for all services in general tend to run up, so yes, I would say it's a fair statement.
So I could foresee a potential where And I think we heard from Commissioner Miller that already the constituent services portion is very, takes up a lot of her time. And she mentioned that she would like to see single-member districts. It would help spread the load. I almost foresee if we kept it the way it is, that eventually we would have to have all 7 go to 3 aides to keep up with the constituent services. But if we were to increase the commissioners to 9 and keep the number of staff down to 2, rather than 21 aides, we'd be at 18. So potential, I could foresee maybe even a cost saving by doing that, by increasing the number of single-member districts, but yet, not having to increase the number of staff members per commissioner. So just wanted to point that out.
I get it. Okay, good point. Any other comments or discussions or questions? Thank you, sir. You've been,
Thank you.
been very helpful. Financial impact statements, we'll discuss that next. Who will do the presenting on that? Please.
Mr. Roach, I can just set the, what has happened and occurred. Kevin Brickey was so nice to have met with me, Mr. Roach, Julia, and Beth, and we went over her thoughts and ideas, and I have drafted a resolution for the Charter Review Board to consider. It's just been drafted. People are putting their eyes on it to make sure that I didn't miss a word or misspell anything. And so we plan for that to come back at the next meeting. And it's a resolution that takes the ideas that Mr. Roach had and puts them in a resolution and asks the board to consider each one. And then the board certainly can consider it or do what the board wants to do. So that's where we are in the process.
Let me ask a question to clarify. We know a charter change would require 10 votes, but would adopting a resolution just require a majority?
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's much
It would just be a majority vote for the
potentially more
resolution.
workable, more
Yes,
doable.
because we're not changing the charter. We're just making the board consider doing some things to
Sure.
the financial
And it's
impact
not
process.
unusual for this committee to recommend, pass resolutions asking the board to take certain steps.
That is correct, and the Board of County Commissioners has also drafted resolutions making recommendations to the Charter Review Board.
Yeah.
So it has gone back and forth.
Let me ask Ms. Jarosh, is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, I want to thank all the members who attended the meeting. We had a really good discussion. They brought out some other points like the gas tax. There's other types of issues that could come before voters. So anyhow, I know with the special elections that the county attorney's office has been very busy. So we, had a mutual agreement that we probably would not be ready tonight and that we would have something ready to present next month. So
Okay.
all good.
Well, let me see what's the consensus of the entire board? Is that acceptable? Yeah. I'm getting nods of yes.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Then that's the way we will proceed. Thank you for doing that behind-the-scenes work.
Sure.
It's greatly appreciated. Okay, then we'll move into item 6 then, the sections 201 and 901. And we've seen this guy before. And now maybe we can vote on it tonight. So would you give us a recap, please? Yeah.
Yes, sir, and I will let you know that it's not, well, the county attorney and I have had 2 meetings regarding this, and our last conversation was that we're not ready to vote on this because what we need to do, the county attorney and I need to do, is work on a proposal for the proposed language for the amendment. She and I discussed, and she actually sees the value of the discussion that I've presented to the board. And in order for us to come together and work to create a proposed language to submit to the board for voting, she has to have a request from the board to develop that language. And so I think I probably should let her articulate that a little bit better, but that's where we left off, was we need to work together to develop the language that is maybe a little bit less verbose than I put forward, because I'm an attorney and that's an affliction, and but still accomplishes the same goal. But it was something that we couldn't do without the board asking her to do that.
Yes, and I can weigh in, and that's the case. During our first conversation, Ms. Hall said that the board was expecting something to come back, and I said not yet, because I only put pen to paper if the board directs me to do so. So I haven't, to this day, gotten that direction from the board. I will say that, I appreciate your considered and all the time you put into it. I do not see the conflict the way that you do. I'm just going to let the board know, and that's as I expressed to you. I just don't see the conflict in the manner that you do. But certainly, if the board votes for me to go ahead and start drafting something, I will do whatever the board directs.
I will mention to you that I did ask the county attorney during our conversations if our work together drafting something to move forward to present to the board would conflict or interfere with any other work that the board would be doing, meaning would something else be shelved or something else be delayed? And you had
That's
told me
correct.
no, there would be no. This is something that she and I could work on behind the scenes and bring it back to the board at a different time.
Well, our protocol has been to not put any county resources into it unless we agree with the notion, So I am not keen about having staff work up a document when we're not sure that we even like the idea. So,
Well, I would propose that without actually working it up, you can't really see what the value of it is. And that's why having the workup is what you need to be able to see what the problem is and what it will fix.
well, I thought you did personally, I'm speaking personally now, I thought you did a really good job on your write-up. And
Thank you.
And I thought I grasped the issues based on what you've done up to this point. And I thought I grasped the notion that the county attorney doesn't think it's necessary. So,
Well, I'm not sure she said that. She said she doesn't see the conflict the way I see it.
Correct.
She isn't disputing that there may be an issue to address. Because that's what I got away from our conversation, was that you didn't actually see it the way I see it, but you actually see that there's a point that I have.
Well, I understand what points you were trying to make. I do not agree that there's a conflict within the charter.
Okay.
so can I ask the board for some thoughts on this? Do we take up a vote to decide if we want to pursue this matter when we have a county attorney's position and a member's position? How do we want to proceed? Any thoughts? Mr. White, you look like you're ready.
Well, Mr. Chair, all the time I've ever served on the Charter Review Board, I've never moved away from the recommendation from the county attorney. And with all due respect, I don't intend to do that tonight. So if the county attorney's office and the Mary Helen Ferris don't feel as though this is a charter amendment type issue to take it to that level, I have to stand with the county attorney on this. So I can't support going any further with it.
I'd just like to agree with that, straight out. I mean,
Thank you. Ms. Latham?
I agree.
Could you put
Position
speaker
on
on?
that. Yes, I agree with Gerald on that one as well.
Other thoughts?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to take a vote and see if there's a majority that wants?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get a sense of here, yeah.
Well, it's opinions,
Yeah.
How about if I just withdraw my request, since I can already see how this is going?
That's acceptable, of course, yeah.
I'll go ahead and withdraw it this time.
So we will not be revisiting this matter. That's understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I still put on the record that
I
I do
understand.
believe this is an issue, and I hope that it doesn't come back to bite us later, but I see that where the board is headed, and I don't think it's necessary to go any further.
And I know you worked with conviction, and I believe you did a really good job stating your position, so I appreciate the work that you put in on it. All right, well, that clears item 6. Item 7 was a letter that was a nice follow-up letter from Commissioner Bowles. And if you notice near the last paragraph, he is hoping that, I'm going to use these words, that we revisit the item. And so I was going to suggest to the group, if you agree, that when we finish our designated items, the things that we picked out a few months ago, we'll come back and see if there's an appetite for taking up the topic Mr. Bowles, or Commissioner Bowles presented. Is that an acceptable way to handle it for you all? Yeah?
With one caveat, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. White.
In his letter, he expressed willingness to submit some language or something of that nature, or resolution or paperwork. If he would do the legwork for us and have us something in writing, I think that'll be helpful in the end.
Right, right.
So if.
Well, now, and if the group is willing to revisit it, then we can follow up with a request to him to give him something we can sink our teeth into. That's kind of what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So we will revisit it, and he'll be requested, if he wants to supply us more details so we can take up the topic with due diligence. Yeah. That's okay? That's all works? Okay. Let's talk about the next meeting. We've got, I think, at least 4 options. And what I'd like to do is next meeting, start calling for the vote. So if we could talk for a few minutes about how prepared you are and thoughtful you are and ready you are, whatever you want to call it, to take up the topics. I see four options, nine single-member districts, 7 single-member districts, some rearrangement of the 7 that we've got, maybe, instead of 4-3, 5-2, or something like that, and then go into a 9-member with a split. 9-member with a split. So I think that's probably every option out there. Is there anything else that anybody would like to have put to a vote next month? Let me review. 9 single-member, 7 single-member, a 5-2, but changing the proportion instead of 4-3, maybe a 5. Well, it could be any. It could be any variation on the 4-3, but the point is to keep it at 7, and then go to 9 and with a split. Yeah.
So
Oh, that's Julianne.
if I'm reading all of our meetings and everything that everybody is saying, are you thinking that we might decide, like initially, do we want to vote on, do we keep the status quo at 7 versus moving to 9? Because it seems like so far everything we've heard really lends itself to expanding. And based on the cost estimate, probably 9 would be where we might think is reasonable. And then after that, it would be the split part of it. I mean, are you thinking of taking it in that fashion so we can split up the 2 issues in some way?
I don't see it, so.
Could and I'm very confused as myself as to what you're proposing that we vote on.
Sure.
Next time?
Yes.
Well,
I don't really understand what it is. Maybe I'm just asking you to just more succinctly tell
Sure.
us what exactly is in your vision of our vote next time.
I'm thinking that there's 4 variations on how the commission might be composed. 9 single members, 7 single members, some changing the split of the 4-3, or going to 9 with some kind of a split. So getting 10 votes is a lofty goal. So because as we've talked about before, the charter is not designed to be tinkered with. It's got to be people that really, really are sincere about wanting to make a change. So I was going to go through and knock these off. And frankly, if we can't get 10 votes for any one of these plans, then we don't change by default. We stay at the 4-3 that we've got right now.
So
Is that clear?
are you fragmenting the vote on this where next time we vote on the number and then sometime after that we vote on how the number will be applied? Because I don't think that I have enough information to make a vote next month on
Well,
all of this.
I'm leading up to that question, but I wanted to explain the options so you knew what you would be voting on.
Yeah, but I don't understand because how you're laying out the options is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you can tell us,
Sure. The first vote would probably be on, do we want to go to 9? And then the second vote after that would be, is it 9 with the split or single districts? Yeah. But, good, okay, so, I don't know. I mean, I'm open for suggestions, let me put it that way. And I see some suggestions, me recognize you. Good.
Are there actually 5 votes to be had? Do we need to determine ahead of time what the 9 split would be so that we sort of have a sense of what we're talking about? Are we talking 7-2? Are we talking 6-3? Should that, I mean, when we're talking, you're talking 4 votes. I was thinking maybe there's
Yeah.
5.
Well, I would suggest that we vote on the notion.
Sure.
That I like the number, I like it being split. And then we drill down into
Okay.
what the split looks like. I know things I've dealt with enough motions in my life that if you load it up, you want to keep that first motion broad so you got agreement. And then, because if you got a bunch of details in every motion, people vote against this detail, somebody votes that detail, nothing happens. So I wanted a broad consensus. Do we go to 9? Do we go to 7? If we agree on 9, how do we split it? That would be the second discussion. Yeah, if it splits at all. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Ogie.
Mr. Chair, thank you. It would seem to me that the first vote to take is, do we want to have the status quo? Because if everybody votes for the status quo, we're done. If we don't want the status quo, then the next thing would be to vote, do we want to change the existing status quo to look like something else? And then proceed from there on whether or not we want to expand to more commissioners.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised at these figures myself. I'm going to need a little more time to ponder them. But that would seem to me to be the right way to start is, do you want to keep the status quo or not? And then go from there.
Yeah, I understand that. I was flipping it around that we'd end up with the default of staying where we're at, but we could begin by voting of where we're at.
may I ask a question? Mr. White has asked for input from the commissioners.
Yes.
Would it be more appropriate to wait till we have the input from the commissioners before we vote?
Well, if you agree to the notion of voting next month, then we're going to go out to all the constituents and all the commissioners and said, the vote is coming in September. So please give us your remarks so we can take them into consideration. So,
Mr. Chair, may I?
yeah, Snively.
Thank you. So my question would be, do you want a proposal? Because I feel like this should be in a proposal format so that we can see pros, cons, weigh out the information side by side. And if you wish that, because I'm amenable to voting next month, I think if I have that information, who would be the appropriate person to prepare that information? But I think each vote needs a proposal and some substantial information with it so that we can weigh this out together as a group, and in what order would make the most sense for the votes to take place.
Yeah, you are correct. There would be staff work, I envisioned, on this. Beth might prepare like how many voters per district are there now if we go to 9 versus, and of course, where we're at now, you could have statistics on how many voters there are. And what I was going to get back to is what information do you, if you agree to the notion we're going to vote next month, what additional information do you want? Mr. White wants us to ask the commissioners, and we will do that. But, and obviously, there's going to be demographic data, like how many voters per. So if we agree to the notion that we're going to do something, what data do you want, further data do you want besides the cost data? You got this one. Let me do Mr. Taylor and Mr. Droege. Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, I feel it may be helpful for all of us, including staff and including the including the public, to kind of know where we're going on this. Because I hear Ms. Droege, but actually I view it the other way, because status quo is status quo. If we don't have the votes to expand, then we're
Yeah, we're
we're
status
right
quo.
here where we are. So I almost view it the other way to say, to say, hey, there is a proposal to expand the county commission in Hillsborough County to 9 county commissioners. That's the directive, and that's what the discussion will be. That way we can get input from the county commission to see what their thoughts, if they even want to opine on it. The public can properly be like, you know what, that is a good idea. And on top of that, I think it should be 9 single member, or I think it should be 7-2-6-3. That way, the information we're getting is also very constructive as well, and it's not a free-for-all. So I almost, whether it's now or next week, make a motion to say, hey, let's make a motion to add 2 additional county commissioners to the charter, and that's the discussion, that's the debate. So that way people, for public comment, they're like, all right, I'm going to drive to downtown, I'm going to get online, and I'm going to do my homework, get the demographics, get their input, and that way they can, again, provide as much constructive feedback to us so we can then make that.
The difficulty I saw with that is if it doesn't get the 10 votes, which is a lofty goal, then does discussion end? I want it more open-ended so that we could then go to talking about what would get 10 votes. What arrangement would get 10 votes?
I guess
if there is any arrangement.
I guess my thought is saying, hey, for the next agenda, say, I'll make a motion to say, let's talk about expanding 2 additional commissioners, not keeping it 7, not tweaking the makeup of 7, but say, hey, let's make the motion to where next week we're talking, staff is preparing, the public is considering adding 2 additional county commissioners to the makeup of the board.
And if it fails to get the 10 votes, does our meeting end at that point, or do we look at other choices? Because I hate to wait another whole month to put up, okay, if 9 at large doesn't work, does 7 at large work?
Well,
You know what I'm trying to say?
That's what I think I was going to say is, we have 7 now. We've seen what the cost estimate is to move to 9. It sounds like the 2 possible proposals could be going to 9 or staying at 7, but restructuring the 7. And so I would think that the demographics for those 2 types of proposals would be appropriate, including what Commissioner Cohen said today about taking into consideration incorporated and unincorporated. Because I frankly had not thought about how a restructuring could have that particular impact, and I think that's something that's very important for the public to know.
Especially since the majority is unincorporated.
Correct. And so I think looking at those demographics, and then I do think that it's imperative that we impress upon the commissioners that for those that we have not heard from, that we really would like to hear from them, and in person or. And preferably, I prefer person because we can ask questions.
I'm going to do Mr. Ogie and then Dr. Collins.
I just have a question, Mr. Chair. Since it's my first time serving on the commission, I know that you and others have more experience. I'm curious, when does the public weigh in on, there has to be a concrete proposal put forth first? Or when do we seek public input on expanding the commission beyond 7 members?
Yeah.
That might be a good time for staff to remind us of.
That's exactly where we're going. If we all agree we're going to take up this proposal next month, then we do the maximum marketing of this effort. Let the public know that there's going to be votes next month. So please weigh in on your opinions. Yeah. And the
then
commissioners.
remember, we also have public hearings that we have to do. So
Right.
there will be 2 formal public hearings.
If something
But
gets the 10
people can weigh in,
If something
yes.
gets the 10 votes, yeah.
Yes.
I just didn't know the sequence, Marilyn. I didn't know the sequence.
Yeah.
Talk, he wants you in the microphone.
Excuse me, Mary Helen, I just wanted to understand the sequence better. Thank you.
Yeah. Until one of these, 9-7 split, wherever, gets the 10 votes, there's not going to be any public hearings. Yeah. But there will be public input into our decision. And that's what I'm proposing for next month, that and all your colleagues, people that have told you, I want to weigh in on this, let them know. Next month we're going to begin voting, yeah. So I'm just trying to see how we want to structure the voting. Again, my suggestion was that we just eliminate the possibilities. 9 at large, if that doesn't get 10, we look at 7 at large. If that doesn't get 10, we look at splits to see if the splits will get to 10 votes. Yeah. It's not going to be easy to get 10. I can see enough diversity of opinion on this board. So I'm trying to think of how we're going to handle the diversity and still reach a conclusion. Okay, let me see. Dr. Collins, you were next. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm
Appreciate your
confused.
patience.
No, my patience is fine. I'm just simply really kind of confused because looking at the population data, obviously we need more commissioners so that we will take some of the relief off of some of the commissioners, but provide greater service to the citizens. That's the first thing. So I was leaning towards 9, but I'm not leaning towards 9 single members. I want to split. So when we go out and we talk to the community, I would rather us know if we're telling the community we are going away from what we currently have as a structure with our 4-3, and then we want to increase. I'd like to see us say both those things because I'm just not for all single-member districts. And I don't know where we are around here, but I know there probably is a mixture here. And I would want us to go out with, why are we even bothering with this? And the whole purpose behind it is to increase the commissioners to provide service and to increase the service going to the citizenry. And if that be the case, then we're going to say 9, and we're going to have 9 with a split. Or if we're saying to them, we don't know if we're going to do a split, and we're going to get away from what we've had traditionally, and so we're going to do 9 and may not have that split. And before we go out to the community, I would like to have a little better understanding. So when I go and talk with someone, or if I try to encourage the media to do a story on this to get the people in the community engaged and involved, even prior to the public, I want to know what I'm telling them, because I can imagine the concern that will surface if we're saying, well, we're going to get rid of the 4-3 concept we've had, and we're going to go with 9 and have all single members. So if we can kind of dwell in that a little bit more, be a little bit more definitive of where we're going before we kind of put that out there, it would help me a lot in better understanding. I mean, I can go out there and clearly say that, no, there is a split decision. You need to make up your decision, go to your community, find out what they want. But I was hoping that it would be clear that we were trying to increase it because we have an increased population, but we're not going to all single members.
I understand what you're saying. The challenge is we have strong differences of opinion, even in the public, where there should be split or single. So, Beth, I've been
You've been blowing me off.
I've been blowing you off. Not really, but
I only have a couple
it's hard to
of
blow
things.
you off.
I only have a couple of things. I agree with Jim. I think that status quo is just what that is, so we have to move on. I vaguely remember, and I didn't pull the transcript or anything, but I think we generally spoke about this a couple of meetings ago, and we were all kind of talking about the 9 districts, whether it's 7-2 or 9 single. And so I thought we kind of got over that hump initially. And the other, and I would be in favor of saying, let's look at 9, and if it doesn't work, then we're back at status quo, and let's just put a fork in it and it's done. The last thing, I think, relative to what Harry said about the incorporated, unincorporated, I think we need to stay focused on the fact that we aren't drawing those districts. We are talking policy, and we have to be very mindful of the population here, and that has been the driving, Dr. Collins just said it, driving factor is getting a smaller group and commissioners that can be more accessible and more service-oriented and get their stuff done. So to me, tonight, we could say, okay, we're looking at 9, and let's just cuss and discuss if it should be 7-2, if it should be 9 single, if it should be 6-3.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of where we go. And I love the idea of the 7-2. I think it gets them smaller while also protecting that larger perspective that I think we really need to bring to the table. Julianne, you said that the first night, and I found that very compelling. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done talking.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to do Julianne and then Hall and then you two. Okay, Julianne?
So Beth, interestingly enough, the thing that's kind of got me and why I'm talking about doing both is because in listening to all the comments that are being made across the state right now by the CFO, there is no doubt that there are going to be reports that are going to come out in the next 60 days that are going to talk about the different counties and what they've seen and what they've found and what they've discovered. And it's very clear that they are focusing on that public safety is the number one thing. Personnel, they think there's a lot of waste in personnel. And we really don't know where we're going to land. And so interestingly enough, I think somebody, Dr. Collins, maybe said, well, maybe there's let's have 3 legislative aides instead, and let's not get past the 7. I think that we have a possibility of hearing from Tallahassee something that we're not happy with. Our charter review amendments are going to be on at the same exact time that they're going to be talking about doing away with taxes, property taxes. And so I think we need to be realistic about anything that expands cost. And not because I don't believe in the population aspect of it. I just think we need to be really, really, really realistic about where we head based on what we're hearing. They're talking about a report being done within 60 days, perhaps. I know that that's pushing us way too far out. But I think it's important to talk about 7 and 9. And I'm going to say it, it's because of what I'm hearing across the state about the CFO. It's what I'm hearing about rolling the taxes and doing away with them. And I think we could be hit significantly here in Hillsborough County. I wish that somebody had not made the statements in front of our building about waste because it infers something. And so I would like to see both proposals. And I am very, very mindful of what Commissioner Miller said. I'm very mindful of that. I know we don't draw the maps, but I think at the end of the day, we should give the public the 2 different options because anything that costs more money at the time that they're talking about doing away with taxes, I think it's critical that everybody be well informed. So
But you don't consider 7 the status quo? Are you talking about maybe changing it around to get
instead
to that?
of 4-3, 3-4? Sure. I mean, I just think the 2 proposals together are important. And I can tell you that I listen to every single press conference right now that the CFO is making. More importantly, I've already been into Tallahassee. And I think we could get caught up in something that's not pleasant. And so I wouldn't, and thinking about that we would be on the ballot at the same exact time. At the same exact time, I think we need to be cognizant of this.
May I clarify my statement, though? I'm getting quoted. I'd like to clarify my statement. When you say the status quo, I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't clear. I mean 7 commissioners. That 7 commissioners could be the existing configuration or single-member districts. I would like to see that. I mean, I'm in favor of single-member districts and taking them out of county center and putting them in their district.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Hall?
I want to thank Ms. Snively and Mr. Taylor for articulating what I failed to do and the need. Maybe it's my limitation of my learning style, but I'm a visual learner. And I have a hard time seeing what it is that we're voting without a proposal. And I can agree that we should have a proposal, and I can agree that having the proposal can open the discussion and give us the possibilities. I mean, right now, we don't know how the districts would be divided. We don't know how the populations will be represented. There's just a lot of questions there. So my problem in jumping straight to, yes, we'll vote, seems to be putting the cart before the horse, because I don't have a proposal in front of me to even weigh those things. And that's really what I'm looking for. I can agree to vote if we can agree that we'll have a proposal to vote on.
Yeah, I agree. You would have a proposal to vote on. Ms. Snively, and then Mr. Taylor.
Okay, thank you. So I think that we might be biting off more than we can chew if we go into the next meeting thinking, well, we're going to vote on this, and then we're going to vote on this, and then this, and this. I think that we just need a motion on the floor tonight, right now, that says, next meeting, we'd like to vote on 9 districts. We don't know if they're going to be single member or single member countywide. It's just, do we want 9 commissioners? And then if that passes, then we talk about single member districts versus splits. But if we're going into the next meeting and it's, okay, we're going to vote on this, and then we're going to do this, and then if not this, then this, then this, then this, we're going to be here all night. It's too much information, and we're not giving the public really an opportunity, in addition to ourselves, to kind of really look hard at 1 or 2 topics that we want to discuss and review and, deliberate over. So my suggestion would be, let's have a motion for, hey, we're going to vote. And to Dr. Collins' point, now you can go out and say, we're going to talk about 9-member districts next time we vote. What do you think about that? Get the public feedback, or have the public know about it so they can come and talk to us and get the commissioners' input as well. I really am curious as to what other county commissioners think about adding 2 more seats to the county commission. So my suggestion would be, let's just go ahead and make a motion, and I'll defer to Mr. Taylor because he kind of alluded to that in his original comments. If that's something that you want to do, I don't want to step on your toes, is to, let's just decide that we're going to vote on that next meeting, and we'll have a proposal prepared for 9 seats on the county commission.
All right, Mr. Taylor?
Whew, there's a lot riding on that.
Come back to me if you want.
No, all's good, because actually that leads into my question, which again, not going to be shocking, process. Ms. Ferris, quick question, because again, I'm looking at it either in one giant vote or bifurcating it to say, hey, we're going to throw out there to add 2 additional commissioners. So there's going to be a vote to expand to 9 county commissioners. We debate intake on that. Then, once we realize, okay, I think now it should be a 7-2 makeup, or 9 single member, whatever it may be, vote on that. I guess not to put you on the spot, what is the best way in terms of tackling that? Should it be do you think it should be omnibus, to where we're just saying, hey, I'm going to make a motion to add 2 additional commissioners, and I want it to be a 7-2 split?
May I add something that I think is just going to be additional to your question to her?
Sure,
that
sure.
will help. So here's what I'm grappling with. What if I only want...
You lost your light.
I'm sorry. What if I only want 9 members if it's split? Oh, sorry. What if I only want to vote for a 9-member district if it's going to be a split district? I don't want to vote for a 9-member district if it's going to be single-member districts. How does that, I'm just trying to wrap my head around how, I don't want 9 members if it's not going to be the way I want it to be, so.
Well, and I think to
Neither
kind of
does
put
anybody
a
else.
finer point on what I'm trying to ask is, I don't want to get to a situation to where we agree to expand to 9, but we cannot agree on the split.
That's, yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that's,
Yes.
and that's ultimately what I'm getting at. So if it makes the most sense to say, I'm going to put a motion out there, this is hypothetical, I'm putting a motion out there to expand the county commission to 9 commissioners, and it is going to be a 7-2. I want it to be 7-2. And then we vote, get to 10, if we get to 10, and if it fails,
So, Jim, you're saying that the 9-member part is the most important part that we're going to talk about first, right? And then, as that develops, we can look at 7-2, 6-3, 5-4, whatever that mix is. But this gets it moving for us. And that does not take away what you're thinking about, which is if none of that works, then we're back at status quo,
Yeah.
7, what we have, or 7 single, or we can take a look at that, which would likely not be as costly and, you know, with as much change. So we're accomplishing, I think, what the three of us
Yeah.
have been talking about. And
And I do-
and accommodating, I think, a very valid concern.
Yeah, no, and I thank you for reminding me, because I do think that is a very salient observation, what is happening in real time. I mean,
I do too.
we need to be mindful of that, absolutely. But at the same time, I'm going to be a little selfish. This is my county. I've lived here my entire adult life, my entire life. This is going to be where, you know, my boys better come back from college and you know, settle. And so I'm also not scared to say, no, this is the best decision for my county. And I know we've got several state lawmakers whose names are publicly on legislation looking to do what we're discussing, looking to expand, you know, counties that have reached a certain population. So I feel good that that discussion at bare minimum has, you know, been had in Tallahassee as well. I respect what, you know, the CFO is doing, and I absolutely respect, you know, the observation and the wisdom that Ms. Holt is saying of just being wise of what is happening in real time, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, you know, I'm good with, you know, moving this forward, because I think it is the right thing for Hillsborough County.
Or at least we got to make a decision.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a motion out there for next meeting to discuss a nine-member makeup for the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners.
Is there a second? A second by Mr. Snively. Is your thoughts that we need 10 votes for that motion to pass?
No, I thought you just need a.
No?
I think
It's just a majority.
You know what I mean?
We only
Because
need 10
if
votes
there-
for it to go on to the ballot, right?
Correct. But
So
is-
we don't need necessarily 10 to move it, keep it moving forward.
What we,
But if it's
But
not.
ultimately, it will have to get 10 votes.
Ultimately, so, but this is not that ultimate moment?
no.
This is deliberation.
We're just trying to keep moving
Yeah,
forward.
I understand. I'm just, in my mind, working through the scenarios, how I'm going to navigate this. Because if there's only 7 people that are in favor of this, or 8, you know, I mean, that's a majority, I'd say 8, but you don't have the 10, then
For the
we're going to do
purpose
all
of
this work.
discussion.
We're all going to do all this work next month and then have the same vote and it fails, yeah.
And I don't want y'all to think that I'm not considering what you're suggesting, but I would be a no vote on this because I don't want to appear inconsistent at a later time when this proposal is actually being spent. And I am going to take into consideration the cost aspect and alternatives to this cost aspect.
So,
Let me bring-
but procedurally, let's just follow me, just work with me on this.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get through it. So is it a majority vote or is it a vote of 10 for this? Because if you don't get the 10, you get some 8, let's say 8, you get a majority, then then we can discuss it next month, get proposals, and then take the vote, and it fails because you didn't have 10, you know?
Well, that,
Yeah,
again,
go ahead.
that's why I keep looking at our parliamentarian, just to confirm process.
If I may try to clarify, if you just want to go to 9 commissioners, I don't have anything to draft then, because you can have so many different variations of how to split 9, 4, 5, 7, you know. So I wouldn't be drafting anything, and the rule says that it takes 10 to have me to draft. So I think if there's a preliminary motion to go to 10, I would go to 9 single members, 9 commissioners, period. I'm not going to draft anything because I don't know what to draft. Now, at the next meeting, before I put pen to paper, then we need the 10 votes on whichever one they want to do. So I don't have to draft, 6 different proposals.
Right.
That's what my
Yeah.
understanding is.
Ms. Hall, quick.
So who's going to draft the proposal? Because here's how this works. I'm still unclear on how we can have a decision on whether 7 or 9 or how they split without seeing how these numbers work out. So my conversation with the county attorney has always been, I can't draft anything until I have a vote from the board to do that. So it seems to me that the first step is who's going to draft the proposal, and we get them to draft the proposal so we have something to look at. We're asking people to conceptualize something that we don't have the data on. My question is this: how are the districts broken down from population now? Who's not being properly represented? How will 9 fix that? Will 9 fix that? That's a very data-driven question. And without seeing that on paper, having someone draft a proposal, even though I may be inclined to 9 at the moment, I can't, in good conscience, make a vote on that because I have no data driven by it.
So would the motion on the floor, Mr. Chair, be enough to vote as to whether a proposal is necessary? Because that seems to be what we're voting on right now. If you're going to make a motion and I second it, and we are asking for this to be on the agenda for the next meeting, then are you saying that you have to have 10 of us vote to say yes for this motion in order for a proposal to be drafted?
No, she's not saying
But, or just
that.
a majority?
Just a majority. I'm just sketching out with you
Right.
what's going to happen next month.
Well, and people
When,
make
let's say
changes
only
to
8
their
people.
decisions all the time. That is the beauty of having deliberation over a motion, because there are many times where I went into a school board meeting thinking I was going to vote one way, and after further information and deliberation, my vote changed. So it's very possible that some of us are thinking it's going to be, I'm supportive or I'm not supportive of it, but until we can really have a discussion about it, I don't know, like Ms. Hall said, I don't know you can actually make a decision in good conscience without the information. And so we really need the motion to vote on whether or not this is going to be on the agenda. Therefore, the proposal would be subsequent to that, and then we could deliberate over it at our next meeting and vote if we feel we have enough information on it. And it could be that maybe you don't have 10 today, but next month you might have 10.
So you're willing to take that chance?
Sure. It's the right thing to do.
Ms.
And
Latham?
just real quick, while we won't know we don't draw the districts and we won't know exactly how they squiggle, we do know what the population of Hillsborough is. And then we can divide it by 9 and say roughly, this is how we're changing it from, I keep saying status quo, but from what it is now to what it will be. So there is some data out there that they can easily access to start making these rudimentary, these first things. And that's really what I think we should do to keep moving forward. And I think it picks your stuff up too.
And what I was thinking was, I think what Chris Ann is saying is, if we're going to go out there and talking to the public, are there a couple of one-pagers that can be created that says if we move to 9, we know what the population is. If it's single members, this is what more or less the population would be for each person. And if it's 7-2, this is how it would be. And if it's 5-4, this is how it would be. I mean, just something that people
Yes.
can speak from and talk from. I think that's
Yes.
And
that's-
what it is now.
correct.
For
And
comparative purposes.
Yes, that would
Right.
be presented next month.
And if I may, just due diligence, I'm going to bring pros and cons with me, right? That's what we're going to talk about next time. So I would hope that everyone would be prepared to have a good discussion around it and do enough homework to where they have an idea of which way they're leaning and bring forth their, I don't want to say arguments, but bring forth their information that supports whatever opinion they have on it. At least that's what I'll be doing next month.
Mr. White?
I just want to say I agree with the chair on this. I think, we want to maintain the confidence of the public. And so it's a study. We're conducting a study. And so we need more information to continue our study. We spent an hour already talking about 9 seats. So the public already here is talking about the 9 seats. How it's going to be made up, who knows? But I agree with the chairman that we need to send a positive message to the public that we have 10 votes to continue this discussion and gain additional information. and talked with the leaders in the community, the elected officials and all that good stuff, of what that 9 should look like. And while I have the floor, I said this several months ago, we can't forget what's in our community, the African-American citizens and the Hispanic citizens. And if you go back and study the history of the charter, you know, it didn't pass. It passed, but then it was held up by the Justice Department because of concern of dilution of the vote of the minority citizens. Anything that we push out to the public, we need to keep that in mind. Although we're not under the Justice Department pre-clearance provisions anymore, citizens still has rights. And so I would hate for our work to be held up by the courts because we didn't take what's in our community under consideration with legal input. And while I have the floor again on this last point, the commission themselves have given the Charter Review Board several years ago a proposal for redistricting, what the commission should look like, and asked the previous Charter Review Boards to study it under County Commissioner Les Miller. I would like to see the last proposal that the commissioners sent to the Charter Review Board. I would like that to be a part of the portfolio as well, because I think their proposal was 9 seats as well. I can't remember.
I believe it was a 4 or 5, but during that time period, I probably drafted 2 or 3 proposals. And so I know one of them was Commissioner Miller's proposal, and the board ultimately decided to send it to the Charter Review Board because it was close in time for the Charter Review Board to be convened. But I can certainly provide that information.
So you could supply Mr. Miller's report?
Correct, yes.
Commissioner
I'll the
Miller's
backup for
report.
that.
That's Les
The board
Miller.
discussion as well
That's
as the
correct.
resolution.
Okay.
And
Make that a part of the
Chair?
meeting
Yes.
material we get next month. Karen, I see a hand. Karen.
Yes,
want-
hi. So as I understand it, there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Taylor to move from 7 to 9, and he was not specific on whether that was single member or if it had, a split. And I would be supportive of that. And I would think all we would need would be a simple majority in order to advance the county attorney to start drafting up 2 proposals, one for single member and one for a split, so that we have the options available. And it's also my understanding that we can amend the resolution once it's drafted by the county attorney, so it wouldn't be set in stone. And I also believe after the 2 public hearings, we also, at the very end, after the conclusion of the second public hearing, have the option to make changes as well. So I'm comfortable voting with the motion on the floor by Mr. Taylor.
Okay. We do have a motion on the floor. For the record now, let's clarify it, please. Can you restate it for the record?
Absolutely, it's very simple. My motion is to consider the expansion of the Hillsborough County Commission by 2 additional seats to 9, from 7 to 9.
Without, okay, and that's all single member? Just 9?
I'm not
Just 9.
touching the makeup, just the consideration of the expansion of the BOCC from 7 to 9.
And we have a second from Ms. Snively. I think the motion is pretty straightforward, so is there any discussion of that motion?
I'll call the question.
You beat me to it. I think we'll do this by roll call, sir. Yeah.
Carlton,
Yes.
Collins, Dr. Collins,
It's the other one. It's the other one, dear.
there you go. Yep, turn it around. You got it.
I know. I'm just trying to figure.
Can you call her at the end again?
Yeah, can you come back to me, please? Let me
Okay,
think,
I'll come back to you.
because I want to
Drogi?
abstain.
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Holt,
No.
Jarosh,
Yes.
Joden,
Yes.
Coons? Coons? Okay. Yes?
It's not.
All right.
Yes.
Latham?
All three.
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Snively?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
All right. Wood?
No.
Dr. Collins?
Abstain.
You can't.
Abstain? Okay.
Am I allowed to abstain? I know I can. I know this is a public entity.
All right.
And the
Mr.
I
Chair,
cannot abstain.
you can't abstain unless there's a potential or assumed conflict of interest. So unless you have a conflict of interest, you must record a vote.
Yeah,
You can
no.
say present.
I can say present.
You can say whatever you want. We'll have the record reflect it.
I'm present.
Then what's the yes and no vote count, please?
Okay. Was that present being considered as a yes vote then, or just
It's neither.
neither? Okay, just
Is it
making sure.
neither or neither? We're splitting hairs.
Motion carried 11-2. Ms.
Excellent.
Holt and Chair Wood voted no.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. So we have a vision, and we've got a few more minutes. How do we proceed then with that? We're going to get Les Miller's report. We've gotten financial data here. We're going to ask commissioners to weigh in on this if it should go to 9. We're going to promote it to the public, and I hope all of you send emails to your constituents and friends and invite them to come and weigh in on it. So anything else we should do, could do?
The one pager that I asked for, more or less?
The showing like
Yes,
demographic
population
statistics.
demographics, population demographics.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I took that for granted. Yeah,
And
you're
you're going to
right.
draft something, Mary Helen? Some kind of a proposal? Is that
No,
included?
no.
I
What
didn't
I-
hear that.
What I heard
Okay, it's not
is to
necessary.
say,
No.
here's the population, here's what it looks like if it's 4.5, here's what it looks like if it's 7.2. And I'll have somebody help me with the math on that.
Yeah, so you'll show what it is presently and
Correct.
what it would be if we went to
Each of the
9
different alternatives, correct.
9 districts.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Taylor? Yeah. Karen, stand by. Mr. Taylor?
Oh, I was just going to say, for terms of information, as we all go back to our cubby holes and start doing our own research, I said it a couple meetings ago, the Florida Association of Counties webpage is a great resource. EDR, which is with the state, they have a lot of real-time population data that's broken down by demographics, so that's a great resource, as well as the Florida League of Cities. But that, again, just so people know, just good opportunities to find additional data.
And if you should see something that you think would be helpful, please provide it to the staff, and they'll forward it to all of us. Mr. White and then Mrs. Drosh.
Mr. Chairman, I have a request. So we've been getting a lot of information. My book is full. I would like all the information that this board has received to be placed on the Charter Review Board website for the public to see. I think once it gets out, we're considering looking at 9, they're gonna wanna see what we've seen. And there's just too much work to search on this county global site. It needs to be put on the Charter Review Board website, easy access for the public.
Beth?
All of the complete meeting packets are on the website, so all of this
It is
information
not.
is
I
on the
looked today, I went
website.
through the whole site, nothing is on it.
It is there when you go in under the meetings.
Listen, I want to be able to click on this month's meeting and everything opens up. I'm not happy with the site, all right? I've tried several times, I know you keep telling me this, but everything, I got an email today, say, hey, something was left out of the packet. So I went to the site that said, well, it should be on the site to see it.
And the revised packet, including that, was
You're going to have to
added.
give us a demonstration. It's not easy to get to the stuff. The previous charter review boards, you were able to just click and everything was just right in front of you. Our names are on the site. who we were appointed by on the site, who's the office person for the site, and the name of the site. How do you get to this stuff, and is it on the site by month? I can't find it. And if I can't find it, I'm sure the public can't find it. So I like a better job done with this site, because now we've taken this vote. I guarantee you, 1 million folks gonna be going to this site, wanting to see what's up with the county commission and what's going on with these districts.
Will you show him?
Sure, happy to.
Can I just?
You want to? Mrs. Drosh wanted to make some remarks. Karen, you want to speak up?
I just wanted to confirm what I said was true, that we would have a resolution on the floor at our next meeting. We would be subject to amending it, then it goes to public hearing. And then after we hear public input, we also have the option to make tweaks, you know, at the very end. Was that the way the process works?
Well, not quite. Once we make a decision and that we're going to amend the charter, then this group has to deliver 10 votes before we do the public hearings.
I see.
This vote
Okay.
now, this vote we just took a few minutes ago was just for discussion purposes. It wasn't a vote on amending the charter. Yeah.
So the public hearing, the public doesn't have a chance to sway our vote?
Oh, no, just the opposite.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted clarity.
Yeah. Ms. Snively?
May I just make one request? If there's information that other board members would like to share to make sure that it's available to each of us, could we please submit it at least a certain amount of time before the meeting so that we have that information given to us by our administrator? That would be helpful. I don't know what would be the appropriate date to specify that you would like that in order to get it out to everybody, but
The mailing is a week before the meeting, so give her time before that to
10
incorporate it.
days.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, 10 days before.
Is it pulling up?
Can you? What
The
are you going to
screen.
try to do?
I think she's going to give us a demonstration.
Are you ready for the demonstration?
I mean, I pulled it straight up and it worked on my iPad. Is that
She's gonna
something they
give
can
us
do
a
offline?
demonstration. That's good.
I think it'd be a good idea for us to demonstrate for the public now that it's been said, because I just Googled everything on my iPad. So I think it's important if you would allow Beth to show the public
Please.
how this is done, I think it'd be great for us.
Sure, so I have pulled up, just Google the main homepage, and they can type in hcfl.gov/charter. They can also get to it directly, hcfl.gov, but they have to click around. So hcfl.gov/charter is the fastest way to get to the Charter Review Board page. I promise we don't have dial-up.
I heard AOL is eliminating their old dial-up modems.
Start doing all the funny dial-up noises.
I remember when I had a 300 baud modem. Yeah.
So
can I
if
get
she-
it?
no, come
Perfect.
back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so when they go to hcfl.gov/charter, this is the Charter Review Board page that pulls up. And then you're able to go to View Charter Review Board Events. Goes down here, and so let's say we click on tonight's meeting, for example. Click on it, and when you scroll down here, it has all of the complete agenda packets for all of the meetings. And so if I click on tonight's agenda packet, it's loading.
Okay.
I think it's thinking about
It is.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
It's coming, sorry, the internet's so slow. Okay,
Okay.
wonderful.
Duly
Jim
noted.
Taylor could give the
Maybe you need,
presentation.
There you go.
Nope.
I didn't even know it was down there. So if I didn't know it was down there, I'm sure the public don't know it's down there. They either have some instructions or,
Like an older one.
if you look,
I've never had much luck educating the public.
yeah, so it's just too many steps to get to something. And so if you look at the past charter review boards, the minutes were like right at the top and you clicked on it and boom, you were there. All this strokes, going down, going to this page, going to that page, just too complex. And so if we're going to be dealing with the Constitution of Hillsborough County and charter amendments, it needs to be simple, extremely simple. And so that's my request. When I pull up county commission information, it's one click, boom, the agenda opens up. And then once you get the agenda, you click on an individual item on the agenda and it open up, boom. You don't have to do all this clicking and to hunt for something and find something. So I know it's not you, it's the communication folks, but like I said earlier, and I'm on the computers every day, if I'm having problems finding stuff and have to walk down to the bottom of a page, I'm sure the public is as well. And so that's my cry and that's my request. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. White. Well, Dr. Collins?
Yeah, just one question, so I'll be able to not say present, I can say yes or no. Next month, when we get the information and we get what Commissioner Miller had, is it at all possible, because I'm leaning towards a 9-member with a split, can we see what that, maybe, I just did 2 of them myself here, but based off the other population information, but just briefly, can we see, 5-4, 6-3, 7-2? Thank you.
Yeah, I figured we would do that, yeah.
That way all of
Because
them are there.
the discussion, if we can get 10 votes on the, to have 9, then we'll have to then answer the question, is it split or is it 9 single members? Correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Because 9's only the first step. There's one step beyond that. Single members or split, yeah. And we'll take that vote next month, too? Do you envision that, Mr. Taylor?
One meeting at a time. But I mean, but again, I want to hear what people, what they think, what they say. Actually, my question would be, are we allowed to,
Want to try to do next month? Thank you for the active and robust discussion. I appreciate it. Any further talk about next month's meeting? Next month's meeting? We know we're going to have a resolution to examine, and then we'll have a discussion of 9 commissioners. Any other business next month? I don't think of any.
I have a question, because I think I have to be out of town for a work conference for the next meeting. And could you please remind me, if I call in, does my vote still count if I call in to the meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We just have to have a physical quorum.
Okay.
And once we have that, as long as you can hear the board can hear you, and the public as well, then you're fine to cast your vote and
Okay.
debate.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Let's ask Karen Jarosh. How's that connection, Karen? Is this working out good for you? Yeah.
It's been good for the most part. There were some garbles here and there. But I did have one extra question. So am I then correct to assume we're going to have 2 resolutions, one for single member and one for a split of some sort?
We haven't decided that. We just decided
Okay.
to bring a discussion up next month of 9 commissioners.
Okay. Very good. Then I'll reserve my remarks then. But
Yeah.
I will also say, very good likelihood that I will be called away from work. So unfortunately, I'll probably be remote at our September meeting.
But you'll still be connected?
I should still be there. I just
Okay.
physically will not be
Okay, gotcha.
here in Hillsborough County.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. So any other business for next month's meeting? Oh, well, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you all. Appreciate your effort. Yeah.